Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Wednesday morning to you all. Hope you guys are feeling well this morning and having an awesome start to your day. Got you an update on what potentially could unfold today for your Wednesday, July the 27th, as we're rocking and rolling on through July, about to make our way into August, last Wednesday of the month. I'm expecting a little bit of a flooding threat. Maybe not a little bit. It might be a big-time flooding threat across portions of the country. I'm talking about you, Kentucky, West Virginia, areas of Virginia, maybe surrounding regions of each state could potentially be under the gun for some flooding, as a stalled frontal boundary is really just, well, stalled, and you just got ongoing showers and storms that keep forming over the same areas. So you got these waves of storms that just keep dumping rain in these areas. So we're going to talk about that right in the beginning of the video, and then break down the rest of the country also, or the majority of the country. So if you guys have not subscribed, certainly consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. I know that I've been saying I'm going to get to the evening videos, but there's just not been a whole lot to talk about. But this evening, stay tuned. I know I've said it before, and then nothing ends up unfolding. I'm going to drop an evening video regardless if there's nothing to talk about. We're going to really talk about the tropics and try to figure out why things are off to such a slow start when we have this big hyperactive hurricane season predicted. And really, it's just a very slow start. We're getting into the end of July and about to inch into early August, where things gradually, climate-wise, begin to uptick very quickly. So we're going to talk about, are we seeing anything out there? Why is it such a slow start? We're going to break that down tonight, so stay tuned. Had someone ask about the Saharan dust in the comments when I woke up this morning. I'm going to talk about that in tonight's video, so stay tuned. If you guys got anything I can pray about, pray over, please put it in the comments below. It gives me an opportunity to pray over it, and it gives others an opportunity to do so too. So let's get rolling. Water vapor loop. The ridge has flattened out a little bit down here in the south central U.S., but still very hot in Texas, Oklahoma. But I think Oklahoma might get some pop-up showers and storms today. And then you got this stalled frontal boundary just kind of draping and just bobbing and weaving across these portions of the country. So you're just going to continue to have ongoing showers and storms. And it's even popping up this morning already. That continue to pop up throughout the afternoon hours across Kentucky, West Virginia, and surrounding areas. And we'll talk about that here in a second. Storm Prediction Center, there's a little area we need to watch right here for maybe an isolated supercell or two to form in areas of western Nebraska, northeast Colorado. Colorado actually had a pretty photogenic tornado way out in the plains of Colorado. A couple storm chasers got it. It was really neat to see. It starts to get late this time of the year, and you typically don't see that kind of stuff in Colorado. You see, usually June is the month for that in Colorado, but anyways, it was really cool to see on Twitter. We're just out in the middle of nowhere, not really affecting anybody, but a pretty large marginal risk along this frontal boundary that has stalled. So not only are we going to see a lot of heavy rain, the chance for a severe storm or two is certainly possible. And here it is. This is the monsoon season kicking off here in the southwest U.S., so you're going to have a flooding risk where you just have flash flooding that occurs over this very dry landmass out here. It happens every year just about. But this is continuing. It's been ongoing for, I believe, the last probably 4 to 6 weeks, and will continue to be ongoing over the next few weeks. And then right here, this is a big area we need to watch out for. You got a moderate risk for flash flooding. That is at least a 40% chance of flash flood guidance being met in 25 miles in any given location in this red area. Notice this in some higher terrain, the southern Appalachian Mountains. You got to watch out for rock slides, mudslides in this region. And then a large section, pretty much all of eastern Kentucky. This stretches down into northeast Tennessee. There's going to be a flooding risk today. It really is. So if you're in these areas, and you've been talking about needing rain, I'm sure you've gotten some over the last couple of days, but you might get a little bit too much today. So please be weather aware. This slight risk is at least a 15% risk of seeing flash flood guidance being met. So there's going to be a big flooding risk in this region today. And it's all because, this might be a little hard to see, you got this ridge of high pressure in this area, but you see this little weird squiggly line that's that's blue and red. That is a stalled frontal boundary. And you just got waves of showers and storms that form along it, and just south, plumes of tropical air mass that really rides up against this boundary. And you just have enough lift that where just showers and storms continue to form in this region right here. So it's going to happen again today. You're going to have showers and storms that continue to fire up along this boundary until it just kind of weakens and falls apart, deteriorates, or either just gets a move on. Flash flood watch is in the green. Basically the entire central to eastern half of Kentucky, several counties in southern Indiana and Ohio, and, probably 60% of West Virginia. The entire southern half of West Virginia is under a flood watch, so we need to pay attention to this, and then a few counties in Virginia and Tennessee certainly also. And then you got a heat advisories flexing pretty hard right here in Arkansas again. Just another hot day, just another day out there in the weather world in Arkansas, where y'all have been just hotter than Hades all summer. It seems like Arkansas has just been the epicenter to just wild weather, stretching all the way back from really December of last year when you had the tornadoes that kind of ripped through the northeast part of the state. It just seems like you guys have had weather event after a weather event, whether it's intense heat, thunder, sleet, tornadoes, brutal heat. Brutal cold air. Just wild weather out there for sure. And then you got a heat advisories for the eastern Carolina, so it's going to be very hot. In fact, it's going to be probably the hottest day of the week, potentially in areas of the Carolinas where we'll get to the mid to upper 90s with heat index well above 100 degrees. So let's check out how this can unfold across maybe Kentucky and Tennessee. Then we'll go a little bit further east into West Virginia. So we're going to look at the NAM, and we're getting into this morning. We're continuing to get into about mid-morning. You already got showers and storms in eastern Kentucky. And then we'll watch to see for anything else to develop, maybe in and around the Lexington area. I think there will be a more widespread coverage of showers here in southern Indiana than what this is showing. But I think as we get into this afternoon, I know you're looking at this and you're thinking, well, I don't see a whole lot. But this area has already been saturated with rain. So you're going to continue to have areas of showers and storms that form. And really, whoever gets hit by these, it's going to unload a lot of rain. So just areas of storms continue to form. Evansville, up to Louisville, to Lexington, Kentucky. You're going to be dealing with storms throughout the afternoon hours, through the evening hours, and then probably the overnight hours too. As you guys could, you got to watch out overnight tonight too when people are sleeping. Kind of like what happened in St. Louis last night. Not this past last night, but the night before last, where, the flash flooding risk kind of occurred in the wee hours of the morning and then lasted all through the morning hours of the next day of yesterday. So you got to watch out for a scenario like this around eastern Kentucky. And then here comes another area of storms that starts to enter as we get into tomorrow morning. That's when we watch out for areas like Bowling Green, Paducah, Nashville, Tennessee. Definitely watch out. More showers and storms move in. Then we start to inch a little bit east into West Virginia. Already dealing with some storms this morning that are forming. And then I think as we get into late morning, more showers and storms form. Charleston, West Virginia, eastern Kentucky, Western Virginia. This is not just storms. These are just heavy plumes of heavy rain. So, Roanoke, Blacksburg, you guys are going to see a lot of heavy rain throughout the afternoon hours as we're getting into about mid to late afternoon. And then another area of storms form and starts to move into southern areas of West Virginia as we're getting into the evening hours. This might be quite more of an intense line of storms moving into western Kentucky, but at the same time, this is just model guidance. We're not exactly sure if this is how it's going to unfold, but in general, this will be an epicenter right here for extremely heavy rain, just waves of showers and storms that just keep going over the same areas. So please be weather aware in these areas. And these continued overnight. We're getting into about midnight, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and more showers and storms continue to go over these areas in West Virginia. They're basically going to be kind of moving from more of a west to east directional flow, and then starting to dip southeast into potentially into Virginia, depending on the flow here. But rainfall expected. This is the National Weather Service saying well over an inch for a large portion, potentially for Kentucky, and then areas of West Virginia and in Western Virginia, and then areas of northeast Tennessee could see well over an inch of rain. Certain areas will get over 2 inches of rain. Certain areas will get several inches of rain just in micro areas that just continue to have storms that go over the same areas. It's definitely going to occur today. So please watch out for flash flooding in areas of Kentucky, West Virginia, and surrounding regions today. Even southern Ohio and definitely western Virginia, the southwest Virginia, and northeast Tennessee will see a lot today. So we'll jump down to the southeast, kind of a quiet day. You got a flow wrapping around this ridge of high pressure out here in the kind of southwest Atlantic. So you're going to have a flow moving through here off the northeast Gulf. So it's going to bring a lot of showers and storms in Tampa Bay, for example, later this afternoon. and these will try to move from south to north up the Florida Peninsula. So tropical rains are certainly possible in these areas. And then you're probably going to have some storm activity in southeast Virginia, and then also northeast North Carolina. Some storms will probably move through northern North Carolina also. But I think once you get into South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, storm coverage is probably going to be it's going to be a few and far between kind of deal where you're just going to have an isolated pop-up. Very hot conditions. We already know it's going to be hot in Arkansas and Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, like it has been. But, even from Mississippi all the way through North Carolina and southeast Virginia, I've said it the last several videos. Dog days of summer, very hot. Doesn't matter what kind of pattern you have in place. Unless you just have it raining all day, it's going to get into the 90s because average highs this time of the year is into the 90s. It's the hottest time of the year, climatology speaking. So, you're just going to get hot weather regardless, even if it's just an average summer day. An average summer day in the south is hot. So, it's going to be probably a few degrees hotter in most places today, unless you're up here north of this boundary. Conditions in the northeast, pretty quiet. Maybe an isolated storm or two in areas of PA. And then maybe some stronger storms might try to get going in areas of central down and then eventually into southeast Ohio a little bit later this afternoon. We'll watch for this. And then maybe some more storm development in PA, Pennsylvania a little bit later this evening. So we'll watch for that up there near Erie all the way to Pittsburgh. And then maybe down up, east into State College. We'll definitely watch for some storms. But not very hot as the frontal boundary is down here. I wouldn't say this is crisp air as the humidity has kind of returned, especially for the southern New England and areas of New York City, New Jersey, Long Island. It's going to definitely just feel like a classic summer day. But interior regions, only 70s and 80s for highs. Then maybe some rain-cooled air in these regions of the country. But other than that, nothing crazy compared to average. No significantly cooler or hotter air compared to average. South Central U.S., about the only thing we can get going here. The heat dome has kind of not collapsed, but kind of gotten smothered to the south. So it's just more right over Texas. So you're going to have a flow moving along this ridge of high pressure. So you're going to have some showers, maybe an isolated storm or two in areas of the panhandle of Texas. And then maybe going through central to north central areas of Oklahoma, some showers. Oklahoma City, you might get a shower or two today. But look up here in kind of south central areas of Nebraska. Maybe an isolated supercell or two, maybe a brief risk at a tornado up here. I think there will be some photogenic storms in Nebraska a little bit later this afternoon and evening. So if you're a storm chaser that just likes to drive a long amount of miles, you might get lucky if you're in Nebraska today. But maybe a lucky soul could get some showers and storms in northern Arkansas. I know you guys still need the rain, but the people who really need the rain down here in the heart of Texas are just not going to see it today. Temperatures very hot. Especially in Oklahoma. But once like I said, the boundary was up here, yesterday, where southern areas of Kansas got well into the hundreds. Now it's kind of inched a little bit south, but that doesn't save Oklahoma at all, where you guys will get widespread well above the hundreds. So, well above 100 degrees. Sorry, I'm struggling today. I guess I just don't know how to talk this morning. But Arkansas, very hot. Shreveport, Louisiana, northern Louisiana, very hot. Dallas, well over 100 degrees today, and just uncomfortable conditions continue for this region of the country. Southern Arkansas, southern Missouri, very hot, well into over 100. But then the northern part of, Missouri, for example, just typical summer type conditions. As you're north of this frontal boundary that's stretching all the way from those regions all the way to the East Coast. So, pretty quiet day in the north central U.S. until later this afternoon and evening. If you're in northern Minnesota, the UP regions of Michigan, you guys could see an isolated storm or two later this afternoon, especially this evening. Some waves of rain might move in from the northwest as an upper trough in Canada swings some energy through. And then, like I said, we'll watch this area in Nebraska. Severe storm or two are certainly possible, and this might be some photogenic storms in Nebraska. So if you're in Nebraska today, especially western to central Nebraska, you could certainly see a dangerous storm or two. So please be weather aware in that area. Y'all know all about the crazy weather out there. And then northern Indiana, southern Michigan could certainly see a storm or two today. So as just a little piece of energy might swing through. But the temperatures, it's just average type summer kind of heat out here. Nothing, significantly lower or higher compared to average. In fact, maybe areas in northern Minnesota, and then North Dakota might be a few degrees below average. A nice summer day for sure. But eventually some storms will move into that region. But that's all I got, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. God bless all y'all. And stick with me tonight. I'll have you an update. There's not going to be anything crazy to talk about. We're going to try to break down what's going on with the tropics. God bless all y'all. Have a great Wednesday.